days ago, I made a slow roasted pork, and I used half of that to make a giant sub that I called the Big Porker, because it had all kinds of pork products, ham and salami and mortadella. So I'm going to use the remainder of that tonight to make a barbecue pulled pork sandwich. And the first thing I'm going to do is prepare my bread. And again, one of my secrets to making a sub is to make a little well that'll hold all the fillings. So I'm just taking out part of this bread. I'm not going all the way to the bottom. And I'm going to take a little bit out of the top as well. So we'll have a little well and we'll have a little dome. And the leftover crumbs, I like to use either save them up and make breadcrumbs, so when I'm making meatloaf or meatballs or something, I have them. Or sometimes I'll cut them up and make croutons out of them for my salad. I've got some garlic butter here. I just melted butter and put in some fresh garlic and let it simmer low and slow. And I'm just going to slather this on. And then this is going to go into the oven under the broiler until it gets golden brown and crispy, but not over baked. I don't want the bread to be hard. So I'm going to continue this and we'll be right back.
Feed the birds, tuppence a bag.
Okay, I'm all done slathering this bread with my garlic butter. And don't forget to get the edges here. You want that delicious garlic butter flavor everywhere, especially with this barbecue pork. It really complements it well. This is going to go into the oven under the broiler till it's just starting to get golden. And I'll be back. I'm going to have several toppings to go onto this barbecue pork sandwich. And one is a carrot and cabbage slaw. I've got about equal amounts of cabbage and shredded carrots. And then I just made a quick vinaigrette with some champagne vinegar, olive oil, some dried shallots, salt, pepper, a little bit of celery seed, a little bit of mustard, and a little bit of sugar. And I just mix that up, and I'm gonna let that sit for a bit so it all incorporates the flavors. I'm gonna make 2 additional toppings for the barbecued pulled pork sandwich. One is going to be French fries. They're almost like shoestring fries, but they're cut even finer. It's a Cuban style French fry, and those are going to be great on top of the sandwich. I've got them soaking right now in some water to get off some of the excess starch. I will drain them and let them dry completely so that when I put them into the oil doesn't spit back at me. The other topping is going to be some French fried onions. So I've got those sliced thin, and I've got them soaking in buttermilk. The buttermilk will help take out a little bit of the sharpness of the onion, make them a little mellower. I'll drain these as well, and then I'm going to dredge them in some seasoned flour and fry them as well. I will fry the potatoes first, because if I fry these first, you'll get little bits of the coating left in the oil, and then that's just going to make more of a mess for your potatoes. So first the potatoes, and then the onion rings. And then when they come out, I'm going to give them a little seasoned salt as well. I'm going to put together the seasoned flour for the onions. I'm going to use some of the same seasonings that I have in the barbecue sauce, and that'll tie everything together in the sandwich. I have garlic powder, using a good bit, onion powder. I've got smoked paprika, and that'll kind of tie in with the smokiness of the barbecue sauce. Take it easy on this. It can overtake a dish quickly. Some salt and some pepper. And this is what I'm going to dredge the onions in, and I will make a second batch of the seasoning, just the seasoning and no flour, and that's what I'll sprinkle on when they come out of the fryer. Here's the bread. It's nice and toasty, but it's not over browned, because this is going to probably go back into the oven just briefly. As I did with the sandwich the other day, I'm going to lay down a bed. This time it's going to be cheese. And this will help prevent the nice toasty bread from getting all soggy. So I have some provolone cheese left, provolone picante. Provolone picante from the other sandwich I made. And I'm going to lay that across the bottom. So we got a nice base for our pulled pork, and it won't get soggy. The pork is ready. I've got my sides ready. And what I'm going to do with this sandwich is a little different than the sandwich I made a couple days ago. I'm just going to do the meat and cheese, and then I'm going to cut it up, and I'm going to let people top it the way they want to. So we're going to have our slaw. I've got some fresh bell pepper, some dill pickle slices, and then we'll have the French fried potato sticks and the fried onions. And they can put it together however they want. Make it as fancy as they want, or maybe as simple as they want. Maybe they just want meat, cheese, and pickle. So I'm going to let them make their own this time. I've got the onions drained from the buttermilk now, and I'm just going to toss them, all of them, right into the flour and mix that up. And that's why I used only a small amount of flour, because I just want this to coat it. I don't want to have a whole bunch of gloppy chunks in there. So just enough flour to coat all of this, and then it's going to go into the fryer. And this is a nice messy job. I think you could do it with a spoon, but I find I get them better coated, get up from the bottom, the flour, get all the onions separated when I do it this way. So once in a while, you just got to dig in. Cooking is a hands-on activity. And many chefs have said a chef's best tools are their hands. So you can see it's fairly dry because I only use that small amount of flour. It's just enough to coat them and season them. Into the fryer we go. Here are my potatoes. I've got them drained and completely dried, ready to go into the fryer. And my oil is almost up to temperature. You want it around 365 to 375 degrees so they fry quickly and get crispy. And make sure that between each batch, you let that oil come back up to temperature so you don't get soggy fries. I've got everything set up. This is my tray to drain the fries on. You can see I got my seasoned salt ready to go because I want to salt them immediately when they come out of the fryer. The oil's up to temperature. I'm going to drop in one big ladleful at a time. Stir them constantly so they stay separated, but you also don't want your oil to boil over. And if it looks like it's about to, just turn off that burner. But the fries will bring the temperature of the oil down pretty quickly, and that's why you want to make sure that you let it come back up to temperature between each batch. That took less than 2 minutes, and you can see the fries are golden, and I'm going to take them out, spread them out. Try to get them all, because any you leave behind will get burned on the next batch. And then season them immediately while you let the oil come back up to temp. This is why you want to fry the French fries first. Number one, if you look, there's sediment at the bottom of the pan. This is after one batch of the onion rings. Number two, you don't want onion flavored oil. Time to assemble. We've got the bed of cheese. I'm going to put the hot pork right on top of that, and that'll melt the cheese. But the cheese will keep the bread from getting soggy. That's my granddaughter, Madeline. I think she wants to help me cook. And then I'm going to put another layer of cheese on top of that. This time I've got some white cheddar. And that's the sandwich. I'm going to let everybody do their own thing as far as toppings. So I'm just going to set it there, cut it, and gather everyone for dinner.